Once upon a time. Beauty in a woman is a rare treasure that will always be admired. Graciousness, however, is priceless and of even greater value. This is what Cinderella's godmother gave to her when she taught her to behave like a queen. Young women, in the winning of a heart, graciousness is more important than a beautiful hairdo. It is a true gift of the fairies. Without it, nothing is possible. With it, one can do anything.
The night before, we're already taking a quick look at the castle. We want to find out if it's easy to enter the building and, of course, get a first impression of it. After only a few minutes, we are sure that this visit will be a real dream. The next day, we're standing in front of the entrance gate, where a sign indicates that the castle is for sale. Later, we will tell a whole lot more about the story, because first of all, we have to approach the building as inconspicuously as possible. Hay balls offer ideal protection for this, because from there the situation can be observed in all serenity. The coast is clear. Let's go! And then we're awestruck. Welcome to Cinderella Castle. Not all the lights have survived the years undamaged, and even if the paint is peeling off in some places, the splendor is already visible here. This splendor is not surprising, because the neoclassical castle was built in 1860 for the son of the mayor, who belonged to a family of barons and baronesses. For several generations they lived in this castle, but for reasons unknown, probably lack of money, it slowly began to decay. And so they finally left in 1984. For the first time in over 100 years, the castle stood empty. A famous baker from the area, who passed by regularly and who was not happy that the owners would let it fall in ruins, did not hesitate for a second when he learned that the castle was for sale. It quickly came into his possession and renovation work could begin. Soon, life should return to the old walls. The man transformed the castle into a high-class hotel and restaurant, which he advertised in popular newspapers of the area and beyond. Soon it shone in new splendor, and thanks to his advertising strategy, he even managed to win an excellent chef for his restaurant. Thanks to this, not only the restaurant, but also the hotel became one of the area's favorite destinations, and its reputation was well known far beyond the province's borders. Within a short time, the baker and the chef had done it. Cinderella Castle was alive again. At this point, we're taking a historical break and want to explain where the castle got its Urbex name from. A name that was born in this room. But first, let's turn our attention to its truly magnificent decoration. Everywhere you can find sophisticated stucco work. In the corner, a chair with a table. On it, a single wine glass. There used to be a lady's shoe here. Cinderella's castle was born. Symbolically, we're placing a shoe on the table. Sorry, but we had nothing better at hand. We discover a smashed window with a sticker on one of the shards. Obviously, a long time ago, the building was alarm protected. It's time to leave the ground floor, because that was only the beginning. Behind this door lies the passage to the upper floors. Just as we want to go upstairs, we discover a little booklet. Such documents help us to delve deeper into the happenings in the house. This seems to be some kind of chronological listing. It quickly becomes clear to us. It is a checklist of toilet cleaning services, in this case from 2003. Even today, 15 years later, the premises look extremely clean. The same applies to the steps, which are covered with a noble red carpet. As we're taking the steps upstairs, let's go on with our story. Over the years, the hotel's popularity dropped a bit, but thanks to a nearby military base, visitor numbers dropped only by a margin. The guests came mainly from the USA, Canada and Germany. Many of them were officers, doctors and engineers. The room we are in now has obviously already suffered a bit from the years of vacancy. But the debris on the floor only distracts us briefly from what we discover on the fireplace. There we find pictures of glittering parties, happy guests and stylish receptions. Back then there must have been life in this hotel for sure. So how did it come to today's vacancy? One word is enough: greed. The baker was no longer satisfied with the hotel alone. So he expanded his business to another country. Meanwhile, the restaurant was run by his business partner, the cook, and for a year the business continued to prosper. But then the numbers of the guests dwindled. Unfortunately, we could not find out what happened, but something must have gone wrong, because at the beginning of the new millennium, the hotel had to close its doors. Electricity was turned off. And slowly but surely, something that happens in every deserted place happened. Nature returned. What looks immaculate from the outside at first glance shows some significant damage inside. From rooms where natural decay has set in, we are now approaching what is probably the most beautiful place in the whole castle, the upper staircase, which is dipped in a unique light because of a glass dome above. Simply breathtaking. While wandering through a few more, largely empty but nevertheless beautiful rooms on the top floor, we want to bring the history of the castle up to date. A Flemish investor entered the scene. He actually wanted to buy this chateau, but his bid was not high enough, and so he acquired our castle. As he had successfully done in other places, he wanted to transform the building into a thermal bath. But the process was complicated and the necessary permits were not granted to him. Once again, the castle fell into a deep sleep. Although it served as a backdrop for a television series for a short time, currently the last chapter has been written. But maybe someday a new one will be added. Remember the sign at the entrance gate? The basic requirements for this are not the worst, because in contrast to some other lost places we visited, the fabric of the building is actually still good. We would have loved to spend a night here. On one wall we find an old table of prices. 4,500 francs equals about $130. That's for 2 persons. Actually, we could now take the steps down, but for a worthy ending we want to go up instead. High up. Our 5-day Easter tour through Belgium ends on the roof of a fairy tale castle. Although we did not find Cinderella's shoe, we saw and experienced so many other fantastic things that we decide to come back. Just a few weeks later, at Pentecost, we are on the road again in the urban exploration Mecca. And this tour is to outshine the places we explored at Easter once again. But that's another story, which will be told at another time. A big thank you to Jörg for his amazing photos. Make sure to check out his Urbex Knipser Facebook page.